welcome to Coffee with Pam. And without further ado, this is your host. Here's Pam.
Hi, everybody. And how you doing? Me and Don wanted to talk about, we wanted to finish our relationship stories. He's going to tell us about his, I told you all about my little episode that I had. And Don's going to let us know how his things are going. Pretty soon, we're going to be having Anthony Highland. He's class of 2003. He's going to come on and do a then and now. And he's going to let us know about his life, and he's interested. So we're real excited because he's going to come on and sit and have a chat with us. And me and Don really enjoyed that when we got to see a lot of the other alumni. It's open to all who want to, join and who want to come and sit and have a chat with me and Don and have a cup of coffee. And Don's going to tell us now about his, he's going to go over the relationship stories of what we was talking about the last time that we was together.
First of all, we invite fellow alumni from where we grew up in the town of Northridge. And we had some our class of 85, as special guests before for the That Was Then and This Is Now. And then we had the class of 85 Ridge Rockers episode. So yeah, we're extending it to any of the alumni. But before we get started, please subscribe. One is the request is please subscribe. We need at least 100 to change our name from the long YouTube generic web address to Coffee with Pam. So we need 100 subscribers. So if you're watching this, please subscribe. You can do that down at the bottom with the subscribe box. Click the bell icon to get notifications. And then, of course, comment. We want to hear from you. Just like Pam says, we want to hear from you. We want to engage with you. Make sure to comment, and when it premieres, chat in the chat box there, and then make sure you smash the thumbs up. If you like anything, if we bring a smile to your face or make you think, or you like it at all, make sure to smash that thumbs up icon that you like and share these out, because we would like to grow this YouTube channel. We would like to have more guests and expand this and just have fun. Some positivity, as Pam says, some encouragement, some inspiration, and sometimes we'll cover some tough topics, some sensitive topics. And this is somewhat sensitive on this episode 3 of Let Us Not Be Bitter, Let Us Be Better. I'm going to go ahead and start with reciting the quotes, what kind of launched this 3-part series. And it was from a meme that Pam had found. I'm at a point in my life where I just want my family happy, my faith strong, my health good, my mind right, my dollars tight, and no unnecessary drama. So Pam and I kind of expounded on this to where it's become a 3-part series and emphasizing let us not be bitter, let us be better. And then we talked about relationships, toxic relationships, how to manage relationships right, and then forgiveness and unforgiveness, bitterness. So what do you think of that summary, that opening to what I'm saying here?
I think that was right on topic. It was making me reflect on the past 2 weeks. Me and my boyfriend got back from Hocking Hills, and we went to Hocking Hills the other week, 2 weeks ago. And I'm looking forward to this weekend to being with him and us doing things together and everything. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm looking forward, since we went to Hocking Hills, I'm looking forward to having a good time and relaxing. Sometimes you've got to step back because things don't always go as planned. And you need to tell us about, fill in on the summary.
Oh, okay. I was trying to deflect this, my stories, my personal testimonies here. So we were talking about relationships, and with us, let us not be bitter, let us be better. I'm divorced, Pam's divorced, and no one sets out to get married for divorce. You don't date someone and say, hey, this is my first ex-spouse, right? So I shared that before. And I wanted to share some stuff from the heart, more personal, give an example as well, because Pam did. I put her on the spot. She opened up. So I am dating a very nice gal. I got her permission. I was going to try to get it in writing to share her name. So her name is Yvonne. We call her Bibbers. So my son and I call her Bibbers, or the Bibbinator. That's her nickname. So I am dating her. We just celebrated, I believe, our 7-month anniversary just about 4 days ago. So things are going well. Pam shared an example of a disagreement, the only disagreement that Pam and Randy had. So with the 7 months that we've been together, and I have to confess, we haven't had a single argument. Now, we haven't been together as long as Randy and Pam, and you will have arguments, you will have conflict. So talking about Yvonne, trying to discover our first disagreement or argument, we haven't really had one. Now I can be a little ornery. Pam kind of knows that and joking around. So I've done that and she's not got uptight. She laughs about it. So we really haven't had an argument. So you had shared the jealousy part, right, Pam, where Randy said, "Oh, she's pretty." And then, you got mad and you upset, and you went home and you went on the computer. And so there may be a flavor of that, but I'm cautious, right? Now I'm a red-blooded American male. I love the beauty of a female body. But if I'm with my gal, I've got her on my arms, we're engaging, I intentionally put my intention on her, our conversation, what we're doing, and not let my eyes wander. Now, I have said something about some actresses on TV, because I do have some favorite actresses that are rather pretty. Who plays Black Widow? Is that Scarlett Johansson? I think so. Yeah,
I don't know, but
Scarlett.
I think Scarlett Johansson is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, I know. I know it's choreographed, but I think she's pretty. Obviously, she can handle herself, especially in that movie as that character. But she's played a lot of other films. I think she's pretty and beautiful. And I kind of mentioned it before. And then later on, I hear her say, "What is it you like about Scarlett Johansson?" Like, I don't know. She's pretty. She's fit, and she can kick butt. And a few days later, we're out. I don't know what we're doing, and Yvonne does body combat. If you've ever heard of that, body combat, she works out 5-6 days a week. She's former Army. She's in good shape. So we're out, and she had said something. Well, Scarlett Johansson has nothing on me, man. I can take her down. All this stuff. I'm like, where's that coming from? And I said, yeah, you're pretty tough. You're this, you're that. So I'm thinking now that might be a flavor of some jealousy, and I probably should watch what I compliment. But she wants me to be myself, and I am myself with her. I'm myself all the time, whether at home, church, work. Obviously, you got to articulate and handle yourself differently at work with customers and things of that nature. But I'm pretty consistent of who I am, and she wants me to be. But what that's saying is there is good jealousy. Okay, there is healthy jealousy. And if you're a person of faith, God says he's a jealous God. He's jealous because he loves us that much. He doesn't have any odds before us, right? Not that I'm going to give you a sermon here, but there is a healthy level because you want your man, you want your woman protected and taken care of, and you don't want some guy hitting on her right in front of you or, touching her and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Same way with a woman. She doesn't want some girl come flirting with him or buy him a drink and things of that nature. So there is a healthy level of that. And it's okay to be a certain level of jealousy, long as egos don't come in play and long as you're humble and know and talk it out. Because we talked about communication being very important, right? Trust being very important. But you're in the early dating stages. And if you went through some baggage and see life through your circumstances and experiences and those clouded lenses, right? Pam, we talked about that before. You may have something in your thought, whether it's your insecurity or you've been hurt, you've been betrayed or deceived, that sometimes you think everyone's going to go down that path. And Yvonne's divorced as well. She went through a tough time. She doesn't usually talk about it or engage upon it. So she has been through a tough time. So in the early stages, until you build that relationship, the ups and the downs, in your relationship and your trust is kind of challenged to where it smooths out to where when I'm having that conversation, now this has been about 3 months ago, that she knows there's no harm in it. There was no animosity. There was no intent of trying to make her jealous. I know she cares for me. She doesn't only say it, she demonstrates it consistently. What I'm going to share about the ups and downs and experiences, it takes time for relationships to season. So talking about other examples and other arguments, because that's the closest we came so far to a disagreement. It wasn't even a disagreement because she is really tough to argue with or disagree with. She's just really fun, good spirits, optimistic, energetic. She just enjoys everyone else having enjoyment. So we haven't had that yet, but I'm sure it's coming, and I'm interested in how that conflict resolution will be. If we've got time, I've not carried on too long. I want to talk about a little bit about the past and what I've learned myself, and hopefully share some wisdom. So in the past, I tried everything to make these relationships work. And I'm not going to call anyone wrong or right. It takes two to tango. But sometimes you can try everything textbook, right? I mean, I've got a library of textbooks about, relationships and optimism, being positive and trying to find the best in people and helping people and, building those type of relationships because I'm in that type of business. I work with people all the time.
Right.
So with that and what I've learned in the past, the last divorce was tough. And maybe I'm relating to some other folks. I'm going to give you an example. You try everything. You try to communicate, right, Pam? You try to seek first to understand, keep your pie hole shut, right? And listen attentively to that other person. But if you're never able to speak and engage and communicate and give each other time, there's not going to be a healthy conflict resolution. And if you're trying your best, maybe you try to disarm it. Okay, well, I try to talk and engage. I'm just going to go away. But if that person keeps following you, keeps harping on you, no matter if you try to say, go away, get away from it, disarm the situation, that's not healthy either. That's not a healthy relationship. If the other person is always right, never say they're sorry, never humble enough to apologize and admit that, confess and act for forgiveness, that's not healthy. Kind of alluded to in the previous episode, I thought, well, it can't be all of her fault. It can't be all of my fault. 50, 70, 20, 80, 80, 20, 90, 10, I can point fingers and point blame, but that's not the reason I want to share this. What I want to share and drive home for people that have relationships that were tough, that broke off and not really good full situation, right? Or a divorce, a painful divorce. I want to share what I did and how I found who I'm with now. Right. And I've dated others in between my divorce, but I did wait a while. So I'm going to give you some tips, at least from my perspective, my almost 5.5 decades on this planet and being married and divorced, because you can learn from failures, right, Pam?
That's right. That's how we all learn. But I always felt like the one thing that my ex-husband and I did right was our children, because we did our children together. I know that he has never spoke bad about me to my children. I have never spoke bad about him to our children, and which our children are grown. As my daughter just left with her father to go have dinner, we wanted to make sure that was, I mean, our kids was 12 and 14 when we split up, but we was married 23 years, and we really made sure that our kids didn't feel any of the pressure, that it was anything to do with them, that it was anything to, it was just that mom and dad couldn't live together. We was not happy together. It was to no fault of anything that they had to do. And also, they just got all the love that they had when we were together. The one thing that we did really good was we raised 2 great kids.
That's a healthy separation for the children, right? And it'd be great if all separations or divorces ended that way healthy for the children. But sometimes it's not, and it's not healthy for the 2 individuals. They don't separate well, right? So get your pens and pencils out. I'm going to share with you what I've learned from my failures, mistakes, and what I've learned from my triumphs. Neither party are mind readers. You've got to learn to communicate, conflict resolute, forgive, and move on. And you don't want to make your spouse or the person that you love out to be a loser. When you're fighting, and Pam said this, an eye for an eye leaves both blind, right? When you're having these disagreements and all you're focusing on is making this person a loser, that they're wrong, what they're saying is wrong, or their perspective, their opinion, their thoughts, or their emotions are wrong. You don't want to do that because you're making the other person a loser, and you don't want to be with a loser or date a loser. You don't want to make the person you love out to be a loser. You're both winners if you can communicate and learn how to conflict resolute, forgive, and move on. A lot of time these arguments make your relationship stronger and more deeper, right? And more profound. So take your pencils out. I'm going to share, I'll have it flash here at the screen, what I've learned and what I've tried to practice. So me thinking, all right, where did I go wrong? First of all, if you're separating, you're in love with someone, you're intimate with someone, you're married with someone, wait to date. All right. What I'm saying is there's a grieving process. All right. These psychologists and therapists know what they're talking about when they talk about the grieving process. So I waited about 3 years before I started dating or considered dating. One, for a few different reasons. You need that grieving process, right? I think that takes at least a year. Some people longer, maybe some people shorter, but you need to go through those steps. And then you need to do some self discovery. And that's what I focused on. What am I about? What do I like? You know, sometimes in a marriage, it's all about the other person, and you're pouring into the other person, trying to make the relationship work and fight for the relationship. And you sometimes lose yourself. Okay. So I went through a self discovery. I want to know, who is Don? What is Don about? What is he like? What's his passions, his interests, his mission, his purpose, right? God, what's my purpose? What brings me joy? So I did a self discovery about who I am, what I'm about, why, and to whom I serve. So going through that, I started studying some books, actually got a certification in mental health as well. And some of the self-discovery and the books, and I'm going to recommend them. They're going to come up here on the screen. I'll have them in the link at the bottom. One is Love Languages, the 5 love languages. Some guys watching this might say, oh, that's cheesy. That's a chick book and this and that. I'm telling you, as a man, that's a very good book. Understand how you like to be loved and then how you love others. Conversely, you'll identify in the other person and you'll be able to contribute to that. That makes a strong bonding relationship. And the other thing I'm going to advise is take a Meyers-Briggs typology personality test, Meyers-Briggs Young's typology. Find out what your personality traits are. Great study, great series. You can take the test. There's the professional one to where you can take the class and then take the test, but there's some free ones online. You can take them multiple times and take the average of finding out what your Myers-Briggs typology is. And those typologies, they tell you on what you're best as far as dating, as far as marriage and relationships. Very good class certification, very good testing, relatively accurate. So I highly recommend that. And then if you're a person of faith, the other thing I recommend is discovering your spiritual gifts. I'm going to tell you that discovering your spiritual gifts is not just applicable in the church or serving in the church or in the Christian circles. If you find out what your spiritual gifts are, you'll be actually better in your relationships, better at work, not just in church or serving in ministries. So those are my top 3 recommendations. With me going through those 3 different books, the testings and the series, and then I developed my own personal mission statement. So with me doing that, I took my time on who I was dating, who I'm selecting on dating. And we talked about the package deal, right? You know, I'm a package deal because I have children. All right. I don't think I'm very picky. I don't. You know, my summary was, you got to accept me as a package deal, right? Have to like kids, like the outdoors, ride motorcycles is a bonus, right? Christian, I'm a believer, so they do have to be a Christian. I don't believe in unequally yoked, but then you got to understand there's got to be, obviously chemistry is one thing, Pam, right? You're attracted by the physical appearance, but we all fade, we all turn to dust, right? I mean, we all age, gravity takes hold of us, but the physical part does attract. The physical part and the confidence does attract, but the heart, mind, and soul keeps, right? I want to tell you, if you're going through a divorce right now, you're going through a breakup, keep in mind, you never fail unless you don't get back up. You've got to get back up. All right. So learn from those failures, mistakes. I believe I have, and I apply them in my life, but it takes time, right? It takes knowing who you are, that self-discovery. And I'm telling you, if you want to do your best effort of making the strongest bonding relationship, do that. Take my recommendations. Maybe there's some people out there that aren't readers or don't want to do the research or the studies or whatever, but isn't the person you care about worth it? And most importantly, aren't you worth it? Don't you deserve to be happy? Don't you deserve the person that God has assigned for you, or the person of your dreams? Well, first of all, no one's going to be perfect, right? So you got to make sure that, but you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have a healthy relationship. Isn't it worth the time to focus and do that self-discovery? And if you're breaking up or go through a divorce, I'm telling you, go through the grieving process. And that usually takes 6 months to a year, sometimes 2 years. Take whatever it takes and go through that self-discovery so you're mentally, physically, and spiritually healthy, and that you can open up and truly find someone that you're made for, designed for, and be able to love fully and them back. Don't rush into relationships. Don't introduce your children too early to someone. Because when
No.
you're a package deal, right, Pam, you're not just
Right.
talking about yourself and your mental and emotional well-being. It is of your children. So make sure, all right, you wait. Even if you start dating, wait. I mean, the first time I started with a serious relationship, I waited 8 months.
Yeah. My kids didn't meet my boyfriend for a year.
Now, you think Pam and I don't know what we're talking about? Neither one of us are relationship therapists. We're not psychologists. We're
No.
certainly not psychiatrists. But I will tell you this, though. We've had some experiences. We've had mistakes, failures. We've done stupid things, but we've learned from it. And learning from it is half the battle. Because remember what I said. When you fail, you don't truly fail unless you don't get back up. Treat failures as a learning experience. Treat mistakes as a learning experience. If you were wrong, admit to it, confess to it, ask for forgiveness, try to make it right, and move on. All right. If you weren't wrong, learn from that failure or that mistake. If you weren't wrong in the deal, learn from it, grow, and improve. Do I sound like the love doctor?
Ooh, the love guru. Ooh.
Rainbows, flowers. Okay. So
Sunshine,
anyway,
sunshine, unicorn.
yeah, unicorns, rainbows in the background. Any closing statements, Pam, as your relationship coach is finishing up, Miss Host relationship coach?
No, I just haven't got to meet Yvonne yet. I can't wait to meet her. And I think Scarlett Johansson doesn't have anything on her. So
She'll love to hear that.
you take care and everybody have a great week.
Pam and Don, out.